All right, looks like we're live. So, want to address one comment in the chat. Somebody asked me, why don't I debate Unnatural Vegan? Unnatural Vegan refuses to debate me. So I've challenged her to a debate multiple times. I challenged her to a debate in her comment section. She didn't respond. She was live just now. I think she might still be live. And I asked her directly, and she responded, and she said, nope, not debating. She also flat out admitted that she's worried about losing a debate. So that's why she doesn't debate. So she just recently made a ridiculous video about me that I wanted to respond to. And first thing, and this is relevant to the video and my criticisms that are going to be against her, she's not vegan. She does not believe that veganism is a moral obligation, and she also thinks it's morally acceptable to kill animals for garments, so like shoes or some other forms of clothing, and she also believes it's okay to kill and eat animals. And I'll prove it to you. So this video is 2-3 years old right now, but as far as I know, she still holds these beliefs, so I'm just going to assume, since this video is still up on her channel, she's never corrected this in any way or taken back her claims. I'm assuming she still believes this, and somebody in the chat right now actually just mentioned that they asked her during her live stream whether or not she thinks it's okay for vegans to cheat on their diet, eat animal products occasionally, and she said yes. So I'll play the clips, and you can see for yourself.
Even more important to recognize where we are at
I'll turn off 2x speed.
a given time and what we can really reasonably handle, no matter how silly it is. The reality is that, for Kal-El, those little indulgences, the popcorn, the candy bars, just even though they seem so stupid to her and why can't she let them go, just having those little moments where she can go, fuck it, I don't care right now, and she can just have a candy bar, that could be what's just kind of keeping her sane, keeping her grounded, and allowing her to be vegan the vast majority of the time. We all have the fuck it gene to some extent, right? Some more than others. And obviously, if you are someone who easily gets overwhelmed and someone who easily just goes, oh my God, I'm done, it's probably going to be harder for you to adopt a big change like veganism. So knowing that about yourself, knowing kind of what your triggers are, so to speak, knowing the situations where you tend to kind of feel overwhelmed and to really feel like that can help take the pressure off. So I think the big one for a lot of people is restaurants, right? Dining out, that's where people just go, oh my God, it's frustrating. You feel like you have to dictate where you're going to eat. You feel like you're the center of attention type of thing. Everyone's looking at you like, oh, are you eating? Are you full with what you've got? That sort of thing. Or people just what the hell, really? That's what you're eating? It can be a real frustrating, even stressful experience for people. So I think knowing that about yourself and maybe just going, you know what? Maybe right now I don't worry about restaurants. I'll just eat what I eat at restaurants, and I'm an at-home vegan, right? I think that would make veganism or vegetarianism or whatever a lot more palatable for people. And
so she thinks, okay, just a second.
You are a great man. Vegan 4L.
Well, thank you, Poop. Appreciate that. That means a lot coming from somebody named Poop, but thank you, dude. So, yeah, you heard it straight from the horse's mouth, not claiming she looks like a horse. That's just a saying, but, yeah, she does not believe that veganism is a moral obligation, which is completely against the ethical principles of veganism. If you don't think veganism is a moral obligation, then you're not vegan. She also thinks it's okay to murder animals just purely out of simple convenience. Oh, I don't want to inconvenience myself at a restaurant. It's kind of awkward when I'm the only one ordering a vegan meal. So yeah, it's okay to murder animals, according to her. So keep that in mind. She thinks violence, literally slitting an animal's throat open, committing a Holocaust on a mass scale, is morally acceptable, and we don't have any requirement to not
Would you rather
partake
be
in
forced
this.
to watch unnatural vegan videos every time you have sex, or be forced to listen to an ASMR track of Frank Tufano eating raw liver every time you have sex?
think I'd rather listen to the ASMR Frank Tufano track. It'd be a little less grating to my ears. Thanks for the donation, Slappy McPoopy Dick. So yeah, she does not believe veganism is a moral obligation, which is not a vegan position. That automatically disqualifies her from being vegan. She believes that it's ethical to murder animals and support a Holocaust. That's fine. So she's not vegan. She also made another statement about leather or other animal products used for garments.
Shoes, guys. I have been looking high and low for 5 years for good vegan shoes, and I found very few pair.
Yeah, so this is something I've heard from so many people. I don't have any experience with it because I wear like garbage shoes from Target, so I don't have any experience like trying to buy like really nice, non-leather shoes. But again, I've heard it from so many vegans just really complaining about not being able to find good quality, like fake leather shoes, that it's obviously a problem. So yeah, I don't really see the issue with buying leather. I mean, you buy leather shoes, you keep them for a long time, right? They're supposed to last a long time. I don't really see the big issue with that. And of course, Kal-El, she's making an effort to buy something that doesn't have leather, and the only thing that does is like the little bottom of the boot. Who cares?
So she's also fine with slicing animals' throats open, cutting their skin off, and turning them into various garments like shoes. And then here in this video, she's whining and crying about me being rude. So to sum up this video, I'll just give you a quick synopsis or summary. She's upset that I said something that she didn't like. I was being overly rude, according to her. And based on that, she actually believes that I should have my YouTube channel taken down and I should get kicked off the internet. But here she is, literally supporting a Holocaust, claiming violence against innocent animals is acceptable. She's fine with slitting their throats open, chopping them up into little pieces, consuming their flesh, ripping off their skin, turning them into garments. So she's fine with a Holocaust. She's fine with horrific violence. But if you're rude, that's going too far. This is literally the South Park movie joke, where parents were freaking out that their kids were watching, smutty television where, characters were saying, fucking shit constantly, bad words, and then they go to war and commit horrible violence over it. Oink donated $2. What do you think of Cosmic Skeptic and his video on veganism about how a meat eater could be vegan by causing the least amount of harm possible? No. So I would argue, I guess supposedly you could. Yeah, I guess supposedly that would work. It depends on the context. I'd have to see the video, really. But yeah, it could go either way. Maybe it makes sense what he said, maybe it didn't. I'd have to see the video. But thanks for the donation, Oink. All right, so let's watch this nonsense.
So Vegan Gains has been banned again. Not really. He has unpublished all of the videos on his channel because he has gotten 2 strikes. 3 strikes and you're out. Your channel gets deleted. So why did he get those initial 2 strikes? He got the initial one seemingly after Greg Doucette made a video or series of videos. I'm not sure exactly the timeline, but it looks like a bunch of people went and flagged Richard's Vegan Gains after Greg brought to light this little stream. So during this stream, someone asked Richard about John Meadows. John Meadows died just recently. He had a pulmonary embolism. John Meadows famously said saturated fats from animal sources like tallow and ghee are good for your health. Is it ironic that he died from a heart problem? One risk factor for pulmonary embolism is heart disease, and John did have a heart attack, I believe, early last year. And yes, he did promote saturated fat. He was a bodybuilder. I don't know if he was still competing at the time, but he had a YouTube channel and would...
Okay, so here's one thing. She doesn't know why I got the strikes. She doesn't know when it happened or anything. So why wouldn't she have asked me? So the reason I got the 2 strikes is because Greg Doucette he made a video where he accidentally said the N-word. I made a joke about it where I uploaded a video where I repeated over and over again him saying the N-word, and then I got a strike for that. So basically, Greg can say the N-word, but I can't on my channel. That's what I got a strike for. And then the second strike was because I made a response to Alec and Kiri where I insulted his intelligence. I used a number of different adjectives that describe his lack of intelligence, and that's why I received the second strike. Had nothing to do with the John Meadows situation. So she doesn't know why I got the strike, but she's just assuming, well, why would you assume? Why wouldn't you just ask me? I have my email available on my YouTube channel page. So why wouldn't you have just messaged me and asked me? So all you want to do is stir up drama, controversy, lie, make up stories. You don't care about the truth. I've made videos where, I talked about some sensitive situations, like false rape accusations in the in these animal activism groups. Guess what I do? I email the people involved and ask to talk with them so I can get the full story. Why can't you do that? I had random people who don't have, a YouTube channel messaging me on my email asking why I got my channel taken down. Why can't you do the same thing? It makes no sense. So all you want to do is lie, come up with random fucking stories, stir up drama, controversy, and shit on vegan activists. That's all you do on your YouTube channel. You just shit on vegan activists so that you can appeal to your audience of carnists.
Would talk about workouts and what to eat, supplements, all that sort of stuff. He has an article from a few years ago on T Nation about eating a saturated fat friendly diet, as he calls it, and he talks about the benefits of saturated fat and how it's been demonized, over the years by the medical establishment. So obviously this person is implying that the diet that John Meadows was promoting ultimately killed him. Obviously, we don't know that for sure, but that is the context here. That's what Richard is responding to.
It's not ironic. It's okay. It's like somebody who has a fucking heroin addiction telling you, they're fine. It's not ironic. It's well, no shit, dumbass. That's what fucking happens.
So that was the first thing that Greg was.
So, I actually made a video about this, and this is taken a bit out of context. I actually talked about, earlier on the stream, somebody asked me a similar question, and I never stated that John Meadows died because of his high saturated fat diet. I actually speculated it was because of COVID, and perhaps there were other reasons that, he had these issues. So he takes anabolic steroids, which promote platelet aggregation. It does make you more likely to develop a blood clot. And he got COVID, and it was actually determined that he got a heart attack initially because of COVID. So yeah, he was taking drugs that cause platelet aggregation and blood clots to form. He got a disease that causes platelet aggregation and causes blood clots to form, and then he got a heart attack, and then later on he died of, a similar thing, pulmonary embolism, blood clot formed, killed him. So I'm assuming it might have been from COVID again, or because of the drugs he was taking. Maybe there's genetic factors involved too. So this is taken a little out of context, but of course, Unnatural Vegan didn't do any research into this. So Jamet donated $2. There are lots of underrated vegan channels, while a lot of humdrum ones get too much attention. I won't say bullshit, just humdrum, because we're all in this together for the animals. Those underrated channels are on their way up, though. Hooray. Okay. Well, thank you for sharing that, Jamet. Appreciate the donation, dude.
Was responding to and felt the need, I guess, to make a video about this and to point out how callous Richard was being, also to say that his little analogy with the heroin addict didn't make sense.
It's not like
it was 3 a.m, and I don't know, okay? I'm responding to things live. Whatever, I don't care.
like somebody who has a heroin addiction saying they're fine. Just because he consumes animal products doesn't mean it's like being a heroin addict. These are not
I never even claimed eating animal products is like consuming heroin.
the same thing in the slightest.
That's not really what he's saying, because again, we're talking about someone who's not just eating animal products, but who was actually promoting a diet with 9 eggs a day, plus beef, plus turkey. I mean, it's very, very extreme eating. The vast majority of the people who eat animal products do not eat them in that way, do not eat that amount, nor do they believe that saturated fat is like good for you. Certainly the medical establishment does not believe that. So I think Richard's point was just that, yeah, if you eat a diet that is not healthy for your heart, it can't be that surprising when you end up having heart problems. So the same with a heroin addict. I think that's the point he was making. A nicer person would have said something like, hey man, let's not make fun of that. You know, he just died. He had a family. He had a relatively young child, and I'm sure lots of other people in his life who are really suffering right now and really, really upset. So
I have no moral obligation to be nice. I don't think being sensitive to people's, I don't know, emotions is, or not being sensitive to people's emotions is a rights violation, so I don't care.
Like, you know, maybe don't do that. But it's Richard. It's we're not dealing with a nice person. This being the setup to me was...
Like, it's funny how she says this when she's the one who literally flat out stated it's fine to commit a Holocaust, it's fine to murder animals, it's fine to slit their throats open, pay for them to be killed, get their skin ripped off. Are you a nice person, Unnatural Vegan, when you say, yeah, committing a Holocaust is fine? Like, who's worse here? Is me being a little insensitive and making, a joke like that worse than you literally stating committing a Holocaust is okay? Like, get real. I don't see how you could... I don't see how you could logically justify saying being rude is worse than saying, yeah, committing a Holocaust is fine. Like, that... I don't understand. You're not a nice person, Unnatural Vegan. If you're going to claim I'm not a nice person, you're a terrible person. I'm not the one going around saying it's okay to murder animals. John donated $2. He says she's got nice knickers. Well, okay, thank you for sharing that, John. Appreciate it.
It was just like, of course this is something he would say. I mean, he said so much worse than this that I was just kind of surprised that, like, that's what this was all about.
You've literally stated committing a Holocaust is fine. Like, please, Unnatural Vegan. Like, this is why she won't debate me. This is why she'll never debate anybody. How the hell could she justify this? Like... If she's going to complain about me being rude, how the hell do you justify what you said in this video, that it's okay to murder animals?
But it gets worse. In a follow-up stream, again, I'm not sure the exact timeline, Richard
Wasn't a follow-up stream, it was... Or was it a follow-up stream? No, it was.
Decided to just be even worse, just more Richard. Like, you know, the Richard we know and love not only made it clear that he does not care about John Meadows at all and is pretty much glad about what happened, but also went after his...
Why wouldn't I be? So, John Meadows is an animal abuser. He pays for animals to get murdered. And on top of that, based on his own ethical views, he actually acknowledged that he was doing something horrible. He did a video with Generation Iron where he admitted he feels bad when he eats meat because he knows he's murdering animals. Why would I be sad if a person like that goes away? If somebody is knowingly and willingly committing animal abuse, why would I be upset if they're gone? That's just ridiculous. Why would I have any sensitivity towards that person? Would you feel bad if, like, a child rapist died? This doesn't make any sense to me. And again, like, she's complaining about what I'm saying here, but she literally stated in this video, it's okay to support a Holocaust. What sense does this make? How can she justify this? On the one hand, she's saying, I'm a terrible person because I hurt somebody's feelings, but here she's saying, oh yeah, committing violence on a mass scale, that's fine. So, like, again, the South Park joke, bad words are terrible, but violence is okay. John donated $2. He says, big boobs indeed. Yeah, I guess, but thanks for the donation, John.
His child as well, criticizing the kid and John for having, I guess, uploaded a video of his son yo-yoing and, like, being really good at yo-yoing. Not that it matters.
Yeah, I'm just going to skip this just because, you know, terms of service reasons, who knows?
Why is this an issue for you? He just couldn't even understand why someone would be proud of their kid for learning something and doing it and, like, showing it.
Yeah, so Unnatural Vegan, people were complaining nonstop, whining incessantly about what I said about John Meadows. So as a form of dark humor, I just kept going more and more over the top to trigger people because I thought it was funny. I don't care about his kid. He can play with a yo-yo all he wants. I don't know why you're bringing this up. Who cares?
For the camera. Then he goes through like the kid's Instagram. It's creepy as shit, y'all. It's so...
Yeah, so John Meadows linked his son's Instagram on his YouTube channel. So if you want to blame anyone, why don't you blame John Meadows? I don't know what the hell you're calling creepy here. What is creepy? The kid uploaded yo-yo videos on his Instagram.
So creepy. He goes through this child who can't be more than 12, I would guess. Goes to his...
He's 13. John Meadows uploaded videos of his kids on his channel constantly. He literally linked his son's social media, Instagram, in his YouTube videos. Why would it be creepy for me to just, out of morbid curiosity, check out his son's Instagram? This is just an incredibly dishonest way of framing things.
His Instagram, finds a picture of the kid with a fish. He's been fishing and just starts talking about how the kid is awful for fishing, for doing something that he's been culturally conditioned to do that makes him a horrible human being.
So this argument doesn't make any sense. I've seen a lot of people bring this up. She's claiming that because this kid essentially had no choice, didn't have the agency to make, the sort of decision, that means if the kid were to do anything, he's not terrible for doing it. Like, I don't understand this argument. So my criticism of his kid, it was a descriptive claim. I was saying he's a terrible person for doing this. I don't see how, whether or not he has agency when he made that decision, I don't see how that's relevant. It's entirely possible that we live in a deterministic universe where nobody can make choices. Choice is just an illusion. Does that mean I wouldn't be able to make any sort of descriptive claim like this is a good person, this is a bad person? I don't see how this is any different than saying this is a good car, this is a bad car. Okay, well, the car can't decide whether or not it's reliable, fast, has a lot of horsepower, but I can make the descriptive claim about the car. I can do the same thing with a human being. I can say, because human being, has these properties or does these things, this human being is bad. So whether the kid had agency or not, whether or not we live in a deterministic universe, whether or not we have choice, whether or not our choices are influenced to some degree, whether or not he was forced to do something, that doesn't change the fact that my analysis of this person is it's a terrible person. If you are torturing and killing animals, whether it's your choice to do so or not, whether or not your decisions have been influenced or whatever, I don't see how that's relevant. So this is just a completely nonsensical argument. Big Titty Vince donated $2. Richard, you're looking really hunky today. Thank you. Now you know I'm usually Papa Bear, but if you get me drunk enough, I might let you traverse the chocolate trail. No thanks. Spent the day crunching some numbers and scrubbing the doo-doo stains out of my Hanes. Cheers. Hugs and kisses. Yeah, thanks for the offer, Big Titty Vince, but I think I will decline. But thanks, dude.
Yeah, it's Richard, it's peak Richard. The final thing, he's just like watching footage from John Meadows and again, stuff about his kid. It's just like ultra creepy. I guess that's what his streams are. It's like video games and then just looking for stuff to be mean about, I guess. But he watches a video.
Okay, UV, you literally make videos stating it's okay for people to torture and murder animals, and then you're telling me that you have moral issues with what I say on my streams? Like, have I ever made any streams where I said, yeah, it's okay to grab an innocent little animal, slice its throat open, cut it up into little pieces? Have I ever said that? No, you're the one saying these things. So are you worse than me? I'd have to be, right? Or you'd have to be.
From John, this was about a month or so ago, and he's talking about his supplement protocol, I guess, and it's just like a bunch of different stuff he's taking.
I feel
Yeah, so I laughed about him saying his heart feels good, and then he died soon after.
So like I said, the response from Greg from the original video, and then the response to this one.
So notice how she isn't making any kind of argument. She's just appealing to her audience's sensibilities. So what was wrong with anything that I said? My analysis of the situation was relatively accurate. John Meadows probably died to a combination of poor health decisions that he made on his part, the steroids, his terrible diet, along with him getting COVID. And my criticisms against his kid being an animal abuser, you haven't actually explained why I was wrong. The only thing you pointed out was you assumed that he didn't have any agency when he made these decisions to torture and murder animals. Well, I don't see how that matters. Like, what point are you trying to make? Okay, whether he has agency or not, that doesn't change the truthfulness of the claim. My analysis of whether or not he's a good or bad human being.
I'm not sure if it was in between the two or after this second one where people really started flagging Richard's stuff, and so he got a strike, and then he said he got another strike on his video responding to someone else, I believe. A few things I want to talk about, just some of the stuff that Greg says, some of his responses I find interesting I want to talk about, and also just in terms of canceling people and removing people from platforms like YouTube, and I think
she's pro-cancel culture.
This is the kind of thing that gives vegans a bad name.
Is it really, though? I feel like this is so over the top. Obviously, I am someone who has criticized vegans for doing things that I think people...
You're not vegan, so I don't take anything you have to say seriously when you criticize other vegans.
People will see as pretty heinous or pretty uninviting, and I think you do risk turning people off. That is certainly a concern of mine. I don't think anyone watched...
Yeah, so this is kind of besides the point, but what she's saying, you can turn people off of veganism if you're rude or extreme, that's just complete nonsense. So you turn vegan for the animals. You don't just say, I was going to go vegan, but you were rude to me. Like, that's just complete nonsense. So regardless of your method of activism, whether you're rude or extreme or hostile, that doesn't actually influence whether or not somebody's going to go vegan. If they're actually interested in the moral arguments, they'll go vegan. But if they're not, they're just not going to go vegan regardless of whether or not you're nice or really rude. You could argue that certain methods of activism are confusing. The message is kind of muddled. Maybe the argument doesn't come across well, and that would prevent somebody from going vegan just because they don't really understand you well. But yeah, this idea that you can be too rude and that will prevent somebody from going vegan, that's just complete nonsense.
Which is a grown man criticizing a child for yo-yoing and being pretty
Never criticized him for yo-yoing. I just made a fucking joke.
awesome at yo-yoing and goes, that's vegans, that's how they are. I can't go vegan because that's what happens. If someone responds like that, I feel like they're a lost cause. Like, they're never going to go vegan. They're always going to be that person that's like, well, if vegans were just nicer
she actually
to me,
kind of agrees
they're
with
always
me in
going to
that
be
respect.
like that. They have no intention of going vegan. They're looking for reasons to hate vegans. Again, there are certain things vegans do that I'm very concerned about being attached to veganism. Anti-vax shit, particularly right now. Fruit diets, all that kind of stuff. Any sort of pseudoscientific medicine shit. I feel like most people, vegan or not, are just going to go, wow, he's a really mean guy. Probably more vibrantly worded than that, but you know what I mean. This is just Richard being Richard, and this has been Richard for a very long time. There was a period where it seemed like he was getting better, maybe trying.
Okay, so again, Unnatural, anti-vegan. You're complaining about what I said here. Is anything I said about John Meadows or his kid worse than you saying it's totally okay to torture and murder animals? You're literally advocating violence against animals. I never advocated violence against anybody, but here you are saying me being rude is worse than advocating for violence.
Trying to tone himself down and be nicer, but for whatever reason, he stopped doing that. And I think it comes down to mental illness. I know you're not supposed to diagnose people, but he has said in the past that he is a...
Okay, so again, I'm going to repeat this phrase like over and over again, but you've openly supported a Holocaust, mass violence against animals, and then you're claiming I'm the one who's mentally ill? Like, this is why you keep avoiding a debate with me? You won't even respond to my comments in your comment section, because you know there's no way for you to square this. There's no way for you to come up with any logically consistent position where you could have a problem with what I've said on camera, but you're totally fine with advocating violence against animals and supporting a Holocaust. This is just ridiculous.
It's a psychopath. I want to say then he said he wasn't anymore for some reason. I can't remember exactly, but he used to say at least that he was a psychopath. I don't
Never said that I was a psychopath. You're lying. I've stated I'm a sociopath. There is a meaningful difference there.
believe he's ever been formally diagnosed.
It's incredibly...
Great.
The behaviors he engages in align with that diagnosis. I don't think it would shock anyone if he...
Okay, so Unnatural anti-vegan, what is more psychopathic, me being rude to somebody or you openly advocating for a Holocaust against animals? Tell me, what's more psychopathic? Yeah, that's right. No, why are you still running from a debate? Oh, I guess we figured it out.
Came out and said, I've been formally diagnosed as a psychopath. Making fun of a kid yo-yoing, making fun of a father for caring about their child yo-yoing, that's either, again, like literally he cannot understand what that is because he doesn't have the capacity for empathy.
I don't care. How is that a rights violation? I don't care about these people. I don't care about their feelings. And again, why do I have to care about their feelings? I don't see how I'm morally obligated to care about anyone's feelings. I don't see how it's a rights violation for me to make fun of somebody on the internet. But here you are openly advocating for supporting a Holocaust. How the hell can you have a problem with me making some stupid fucking insensitive joke, but then you openly advocate for a Holocaust? This makes no logical sense, and this is why you won't make any kind of response to me. This is why you constantly dodge a debate. This is why you won't even respond to my comments on your videos.
Or has very low capacity for empathy, or I'm gonna be a real...
I have a low capacity for empathy. This is the person who is openly advocating for torturing and killing animals, but apparently I'm the one who has a low capacity for empathy because I said something rude. Like, Unnatural Vegan, if you're ever going to make a response to this, please answer this question. Do you think actual violence, like murder, is less bad than being rude? Like, I don't see how you could possibly have any logically consistent position on this without thinking that actual physical violence where you murder someone is actually less bad than rudeness.
a mom right now, but like maybe it's coming from within. You know, maybe he is just an extremely unhappy person and he takes it out on everyone else. Whatever it is, there's a lot going wrong. There has to be so angry about such a little thing, about nothing, about something that would...
You're showing me a video where I'm smiling and laughing and making a joke, but I'm angry. Like, how does this make any sense?
Make no one else angry, like at all. Most people would watch that video of a kid yo-yoing, whether you have children or not, and go...
I didn't get angry watching a kid yo-yo. I got angry watching a kid torturing and murdering an animal. Like, she's literally making shit up now.
Oh, cute. Instead, it makes him angry. Not only that, he's baffled by, number one, a kid just being a kid, but number two, that a parent would see fit to film it, would actually like be proud of their kid. Like, he doesn't understand why that's a thing. Like, he doesn't understand that parents love their kids and love their kids learning things. He is very likely severely depressed.
She is literally making crap up. Like, how do you determine this? She's literally making up a narrative.
Psychopathic. I know you're not supposed to diagnose people, but like, come on, there's something...
Like, again, I'm psychopathic, so you've openly advocated for torturing and murdering animals, but I'm the psychopath because I said something rude and insensitive. I made an insensitive joke. So, apparently, according to Unnatural Vegan, if I had, like, actually, like, lit their house on fire and tried to kill them, that would have been okay, but me being rude, oh, that's crossing the line. So, like, again, the only way this is a logically consistent position is if she thinks physical violence and murder is less bad than being rude.
Wrong. Go back to the video I made. This was years ago at this point.
She lied all throughout this video. I never said that it's wrong to have children. I just said you should consider whether or not you want to have children.
Talking about kids and not wanting kids. It's fine to not want children, and it's great to be self-aware enough to know that you don't want children, or to know that you would not be a good parent, whatever. That's fantastic, but that's not what we're talking about. We're talking about someone who hates children, apparently, and
never said I hate children. I said that I have a phobia of children. So, infant children who are really young, like, you know, babies, 1 or 2 years old, I actually have a phobia of children. They scare me. I have a similar fear of children as, like, somebody might have a phobia of spiders, basically. I used to work at a hockey training gym. The youngest group of kids I trained were, I think, like 6 to 8 years old. They were fine. I don't have issues with dealing with kids that are that young generally. Usually they're pretty cool. They're into video games. They like similar stuff I like motorcycles and stuff like that. But no, I just have a phobia of infant children, really young. She's literally just making shit up. Natasha donated $2. Swayze is one of the most smug people on the internet. She's just virtue signaling and projecting her own problems onto you. I don't know if she's projecting, but she's literally flat up making shit up about me. Like, she's just lying. And I mean, she could have asked me about this. We could have discussed this. I offered to discuss and or debate these issues with her, but she refuses to. And yeah, she resorts to just making up flat out fucking lies about me, and she has no problem with it. Well, thanks for the donation, Natasha. Ryan Lyon donated $2. It's funny how the brief kid comment was made in a 3 a.m. stream of like 200 people watching. All the haters then made videos about it, making 1,000 times know about it. I think you mean more people know about it. And like you are attacking children, but thus is YouTube drama. Also is AV Blaha with hair. No, I wouldn't compare her to Blaha. She's UV. I think we should start calling her UAV, Unnatural Anti-Vegan. But thanks for the donation, Ryan Lyon. Yeah, like another point is like the stream she's talking about, it was like at 3 a.m. Very few people were watching, and I deleted the stream after. Like, what is it? Like, what's the issue? Nobody saw this. Just some random fucking troll who hates me just clipped the stream and then made a big deal about it.
And like, where's that as a badge of honor? That is not normal. That's like saying you hate dogs and being proud that you hate dogs. That is mental illness.
Yeah, so you're making up lies about me. Simple as that. Again, you wouldn't have this problem if you agreed to have a discussion, but you're fine with lying about people.
You know, whatever the formal diagnosis is, there's something wrong with him, and it's sad, you know? He needs, I don't know. I don't know if he is seeing a therapist or has ever seen a therapist, but...
So, yeah, again, Unnatural Anti-Vegan. Tell me what's worse, even if we assumed this lie about me was true, that I hate children, which I don't. Is it worse to hate children, or is it worse to say that, you know, it's okay to kill and murder animals? Is it worse to support a Holocaust? Like, you're openly advocating for violence. Is openly advocating for violence not worse than hating children, just in a general sense? I don't even hate kids. I've explained this many, many times on a lot of different streams. I've talked about this before. It's just ridiculous. Kenny donated $2. Cheers, Big Daddy. Thanks for the stream. How are you doing today? I'm doing pretty all right. I slept most of the day. I just needed a lot of rest. So, yeah, I've just been sleeping most of the day, chilling. But I feel pretty good. Thanks for the donation, Kenny. Not gonna let this get to me.
But he needs to go to someone and talk to someone. And I really hope he does. And I mean that.
Yeah, so Unnatural Vegan, do you think somebody who supports a Holocaust needs to go get therapy? Like, what logical sense does this make? Do you think meat eaters have to get therapy? Do you think hunters should get therapy? Do you think you should get therapy since you think it's okay to torture and murder animals because you can't be fucked? The inconvenience of just asking for a vegan option at a restaurant is too great? Like, between you and I, like, who would need therapy more? Somebody who openly advocates for a Holocaust or someone who just doesn't like kids? Wow.
That genuinely, everyone deserves sympathy, even someone like Richard.
Just when you think he knows what he's doing. For example, he said, yeah, calling the kid that was going too far. But then shortly after, 1 minute later, he's saying things that are even worse than he just said.
I'll just skip over this. You can look at Greg's video if you want.
Just because Richard knows that commenting on John's child was over the top doesn't mean that he...
People were complaining that I was making, very petty kind of insults. And I said, yeah, whatever. Okay, big deal.
Can stop doing it. I don't think he can stop. He is so perpetually angry. He can't stop. And again, maybe he has that lack of empathy that would, keep most people from...
So, Unnatural Vegan, if you look at the stream I did, when was I angry? The only time I was angry was when I was looking at his kid torturing and killing animals. The rest of the stream, I was just laughing and happy. I was enjoying myself. Why do you think I'm angry constantly? The only time I get angry or upset is when I watch people like you.
From doing something like that because we don't want to hurt people's feelings. He doesn't have that. He doesn't care.
Like, again, I keep repeating myself over and over again, but, like, this is the fundamental problem. Yeah, why would I care if I hurt somebody's feelings? That's not a rights violation. And especially, like, again, we're talking about a stream that happened at 3 a.m. that barely anyone was watching, and I deleted after. Like, this is what you're making a big deal about, but then you're fine with openly advocating for a fucking Holocaust. So apparently, I should be more concerned with people's feelings than preventing somebody from getting tortured and murdered? Like, what sense does this make? Again, if you're ever going to make a response to this stream or this video, which I doubt you'll do because, like, you look completely foolish here, please explain to me, like, how do you think it's worse for me to be rude and insensitive compared to you promoting a goddamn Holocaust? Like, this is ridiculous. Like, the person you're defending here, John Meadows, you openly admitted the guy ate tons of meat. He was an animal abuser. If you look at the video on Generation Iron where they interviewed John Meadows about veganism, he admitted he was doing something wrong. He was being immoral by eating meat. He admitted it himself. You're giving more sympathy to that guy, like a guy who is an admitted animal abuser, somebody who admitted to supporting a Holocaust, but then you have a problem with me making an insensitive joke? Like, what sense does this make?
Just to be clear, this is not to excuse his behavior at all. It's wrong. More than that, it's just really stupid.
Why is my behavior wrong? You haven't made an argument. All you've done is said, I'm offended. So Unnatural, like, not vegan. So you're telling me if you do anything that's offensive, you're doing something wrong? You offend me. The things that you've said on your channel, openly advocating for a Holocaust, is offensive. I guess that's wrong. I'm sure, plenty of things offend you. Plenty of things that I do probably offend you. Look, the porn I watch usually involves simulated rape. I'm into race play where people pretend to be racist. I like some weird, gross porn like anal sex. I'm sure that offends you. Plenty of the movies and video games I watch are extremely violent. I read really violent, graphic mangas like Berserk. I'm sure that offends you. Is all of that wrong? Is doing anything offensive wrong, according to you? What sense does this make? What argument has she made? All she's done so far is said, this is offensive. Okay? Your point? And again, this is why she won't debate me. What does she have to say other than I'm offended? It makes no sense. And if you're going to get offended at anything, why aren't you offended at people committing an animal holocaust? Why aren't you offended at John Meadows or his kid or anyone on YouTube who shows what they eat in a day eating meat? Any of the hunting channels on YouTube? Any of the people who have like weird, stupid pet channels where they feed their like pet snakes rats or something? Why doesn't any of that offend you, but me being rude offends you? It's just ridiculous. There's no logically consistent way that she can say what I'm doing is wrong, but her saying, oh yeah, supporting the Holocaust is fine. Like, what sense does this make?
Not only just talking about all this in a stream and just not expecting that this is going to come back to bite you, but also just the way he views morality. And
this bit me in no way. None of the strikes I had on my channel had anything to do with the stream, so... Princess donated $2. Hi, Richard. Aside from your pedophobia, are you and Jasmine anti-natalist? There's different types of anti-natalist. We're like soft anti-natalists. We just think that people who are unfit to have children shouldn't have children. I don't take an extreme position like Superhuman Dance where like every living thing in the world should be like killed. That's kind of crazy. If so, can you eventually make an educated video about anti-natalism? Big fan. Hugs and kisses. Yeah, so I'm not an extreme anti-natalist where I think nobody should have children. I just think chances are few people should have children. I've seen statistics where in certain areas at least, like 80% of pregnancies are unplanned. Like that's crazy. I think there's a good chance most people shouldn't have children. I think a lot of people are unfit to be parents. But I think if you are fit to be a parent, you should be able to. That's my position. Whether or not we should institute policies preventing certain people to have children, that's a totally different story. But like on a basic moral, grounds, that's my position. Thanks for the nation, Princess. Appreciate it.
And good and evil, just not understanding cultural norms at all, not understanding that this kid who...
She's saying I don't understand good and evil. You've openly supported a Holocaust. You don't believe veganism is a moral obligation, but I don't understand good and evil. This is just absolutely baffling to me. And I don't understand cultural norms. The entire reason I made some of these jokes is because I knew they were offensive. I wanted to get a reaction from people, so clearly I understand cultural norms.
Been raised to fish is probably going to continue to do so, and that doesn't mean they're bad.
What point? Oh, okay, so Unnatural Vegan. Let's say this kid was raised to torture and murder people and rape kids. Okay, they were raised to do it. Does that mean they're not bad? I don't understand how taking away agency from somebody makes them not bad regardless of what they do. How does this make any sense? She's saying that because this kid essentially didn't have a choice to, go fishing, that means him fishing makes he's still a good person. How does that make any sense? So, okay, if you were to raise somebody to be a complete piece of shit like Hitler, you torture and murder people, you're racist, you rape kids, but you were brainwashed or, forced as a child or something, does that mean you're a good person? No. These are descriptive claims. They have nothing to do with whether or not the person has agency. So this makes no sense. Regardless of whether or not the kid had agency when he made these decisions to fish or hunt or eat meat, it doesn't matter. He's doing these things, and according to my ethical beliefs, if you do these things, that makes you a bad person. So, yeah, just really bad argument.
Not understand that is just so childish. And again, this is Richard being Richard.
I do understand that. I made a video about this. If you bothered actually looking, I know the videos are taken down off my channel, but if you went over to my LBRY Odyssey account, you could have seen I already made an argument responding to these ridiculous criticisms. I don't believe a lack of agency has anything to do with the criticisms I made against this kid. If this kid was raised to do other terrible things like murder and rape people, I would have said the same thing. If you do terrible things, that makes you a terrible person.
Is his view of humanity that he has held since his channel's inception. For as long as I can remember, I and others have criticized him for this kind of stuff forever, for his view of people, for his view, again, of vegetarians, just having no concept or not caring that, like, people make mistakes, that people are usually trying to get better. No, that does not work for him.
And to hear him laugh.
Like, I don't know what point she's trying to make. Like, this isn't an argument. Again, she's just saying, I don't like how you criticize people. Okay, what's the point? So you just don't like me or the way I say things? All right. Brilliant. I don't like you. I don't like the way you talk and say things. I guess you're wrong. Unnatural anti-vegans show donate $2. Swayze should donate her huge boobs to other people so that they aren't wasted on her. Your words, not mine. Maybe that might help because then she wouldn't have nearly as much boob to divert the flow of blood to her brain. Your words, not mine. But thanks for the nation, dude. Corona Bro donated $2. It's raining outside and I have my umbrella, but my umbrella doesn't work unless everyone else around me is wearing umbrella. The raindrops will mutate and still make me wet, so everyone needs to be mandated to wear an umbrella. Stop being anti-umbrella. Okay, well, that made absolutely no sense. I don't see how that analogy has anything to do with the coronavirus situation, but thanks for the donation, Corona Bro.
Laugh hysterically, getting pleasure from this, enjoying this.
Oh, that's too...
And literally cheer for the person innocent people. Like, oh yeah, clap, yay, go get them.
What? John Meadows wasn't an innocent person. He was knowingly and willingly paying for animals to be murdered. So, yeah, like, Greg, if you found out somebody was torturing and killing people, would you not be happy if they were gone? What?
I mean, there have been several horror movies I've watched where I rooted for the bad guy. Like, really? Seriously? There's never been that, like, scary movie or whatever slasher flicks. There's never been at least one character where you were like, God, I can't wait for them to die. Disney movies, you've never rooted for a villain. You never rooted for Ursula. Really? Ariel? Who likes Ariel? The character sucks. This coming from Greg, like, it just seems like... Oh my God, I can't believe Vegan Gates would say that. It's just like pearl clutching. Like, we're not talking about this.
Oh my God, I actually agree with her. So yeah, Greg is a drama queen. He doesn't care about John Meadows. He's just doing this and saying this to make me look bad to get back at me.
Squeakiest, clean person ever. Greg, like, he has been called an asshole. There have been videos made about him and his tone and the words he says being not okay. He's called people for looking like the average person, for being fat. He's said that they look like poop. He knows that.
Yeah, Greg, I think Greg called me fat in a video. I've seen him call a bunch of other people fat. He has bullied a girl with a tiny channel who suffered from suicidal depression, and he also lied about her too, claiming she stole his cookbook, which she didn't. She got a hold of an unlicensed copy, so that's not stealing if it's unlicensed.
That's not nice. So what? Does he just not care? Like Richard, he just doesn't care? The issue to me here is not Richard laughing at the quote-unquote irony of the situation, John saying the proof would be in the pudding and then dying, because seriously, don't fucking lie. A lot of us have laughed at similar situations. There was a whole show on Spike TV, I think it was, called 1,000.
I just went to the gym and had a workout. But my workout is only effective if others are doing it. People around me aren't working out, therefore I can't make any gains. We need to have workout mandates for my workout to be effective. Stop being selfish.
Yeah, again, Corona Bro, I don't see how that analogy makes any sense. Workouts don't work in a similar way as vaccines, but thanks for the donation, Corona Bro.
1,000 Ways to Die. And the whole show was making fun of actual situations people had died in. And it wasn't just like people doing bad shit, like trying to steal something. Sometimes that happened, not that that excuses it, but often it was just like someone was bulimic and ate way too much and tried to purge it, and food fucking broke through her stomach and she died. That was one of the episodes, and it was like, ha ha ha, Crazy, right? So please don't act all high and mighty like you've never laughed at a similar tragic / funny situation. Whatever. That is such bullshit. I mean, most of the
Holy
top
shit, she's saying
comedians
something I
ever,
agree with.
George Carlin, Louis C.K., a lot of them have made jokes or are even famous for making those kinds of like offensive jokes. So no, this is not unique to Richard. Granted, there are at least a few people who genuinely do not find that type of stuff funny. That's just not humorous to them. You're all beautiful, wonderful people, I'm sure, but most of us are like not like that. Most of us are broken. We do find it funny. We're just smart enough not to fucking stream it. We care enough to do it in the privacy of our own home.
Like, Swayze, what's the argument here? Like, are you saying anything that's socially unacceptable is wrong? So, interracial dating, I guess that's wrong in certain cultures. At one point, not too long ago, it was actually against the law to date outside of your race. It was illegal for like a black and white person to get together. So I guess that was wrong. Like, what's the argument here? Just because you find me offensive, that doesn't mean I did anything wrong. Holy crap.
Like with the webcam
I find you
off, stream
offensive.
ended, we would not want to put that out there, especially right after it happened, right after some tragic event occurred where, I don't know, maybe their loved ones would hear us laughing about it. We would hate.
Why would I care? That's not a rights violation. Like, Swayze, again, I could make content that you find offensive. I could make a horror movie where people get murdered in graphic ways. I could make a porn that depicts rape. Like, oh, imagine if somebody who was raped or had a family that got murdered saw that. That would offend somebody. That's not a rights violation. Like, are you against free speech? Like, do you think any speech that offends somebody should be censored and policed? What is the argument here? Like, what you say is offensive. Like, what you said in this video, saying it's okay to torture and murder animals if you want leather shoes or if you want to eat meat at a restaurant. That offends me. Should you get canceled? Should you get kicked off the internet? Should you spend a few nights in jail because you offended me? Like, this is ridiculous. Is it any surprise that she's trying to dodge a debate with me because of, like, it's what she's saying is so ridiculous and she hasn't thought about any of this. It's just a really bad hot take, quick reaction. This offends me, it's wrong.
For their family to see that, because we care about feelings, right? We would not want to hurt people's feelings, but to be appalled that someone would find it funny, I think a lot of us to some degree find.
Swayze, why is it wrong to hurt somebody's feelings? Like, there's plenty of things you can do that would hurt somebody's feelings. Me just being atheist has hurt people's feelings. Like, holy crap. There's plenty of things you can do that would hurt somebody's feelings that aren't rights violations. You criticizing religion, you believing in certain scientific principles, having certain political beliefs, that can offend somebody or hurt somebody's feelings. Who cares? Hurting somebody's feelings is not a rights violation.
Situations like that funny. They're both funny and they're tragic. What is it, gallows humor?
Is she still alive? No. I'm gonna see if I can actually download this because she said some.
The issue is
really
Richard doesn't get the tragic part. It's not tragic at all to him. He just does not have the ability, or maybe he has it but he doesn't want to use it. And
yeah, I don't find it tragic. So, Swayze, if somebody who was a terrible person who was like a rapist and murderer died, would you find that tragic? Probably not, I'm assuming. So why would I be upset if somebody who's an admitted animal abuser, why would I be upset if they died? I don't have any requirement to feel empathy for anybody else. I don't have any requirement to care about anybody's feelings. Like, what are you saying? Anything I do could offend somebody. Literally, like, there are literally people online who get offended just because I talk about veganism. There are like Native American social justice warriors who claim veganism is like white imperialism and racist, and I'm supporting racism by talking about veganism. Like, there are people like that. Am I doing something wrong by offending somebody? Do I have to appeal to everybody's sensibilities? This is just so ridiculous. Oh yeah, keep in mind, Richard, she doesn't care about rights. She claims deontology is inconsistent. Oh, right. That's another interesting thing to point out. So she claims to be a utilitarian, where she only cares about outcomes. So under utilitarian logic, she might actually believe that hurting people's feelings is morally wrong because you're creating a worse outcome. But then how the hell do you justify saying it's okay to torture and murder animals because you can't handle going through the inconvenience of going to a vegan restaurant or ordering something vegan at a non-vegan restaurant? How does that jive with your utilitarian moral principles? You openly support a Holocaust, but then you claim to be a utilitarian. Like, this makes no sense. Princess donated $2. What's your extensive opinion on college? Okay, just a second. There's a text-to-speech.
Condoms are said to be 90% effective. Every time I smash my girl, I wear a condom. But my condom only works when every person in my neighborhood is wearing one. We want herd immunity from making unwanted babies. Therefore, we need condom mandates.
That analogy makes maybe a little bit more sense if you're talking about prevention of the spreading of disease. When it comes to polyamorous relationships or open relationships where people have a lot of sexual partners, yes, having a wide range of people wearing condoms would actually be much more effective at spreading disease than, say, just one person wearing a condom. It would end up being much more effective if many more people wore condoms, but still, that analogy is a little, disanalogous. But thanks to the nation, Corona Bro.
Could it plausible that when Swayze said laugh and distasteful things in a privacy of your own home, she was speaking in the context of being smarter and not risking yourself for a strike? I suppose being do equally bad or worse and are overlooked.
I don't think so. That's not no, in context, I don't think that she was saying. I think she was saying most people are smart enough not to hurt somebody's feelings. That's what I'm assuming. I could be wrong, but again, Swayze's the one who's refusing to have an open discussion about this, so it's not really my fault if I somehow misinterpret some of what she's saying, but thanks for the nation, Rooster. So Princess, what's your extensive opinion on college? Also, even though you're not interested in becoming one, I think you would have made a good lawyer because of your debating skills. Just compliment. So I think if you're considering going to college, make sure you actually want to, and you're dedicated to getting, the degree that you want. There's a lot of people who aren't really sure if they want to go to college. They don't really want to. They're kind of doing it for somebody else. A lot of those people end up failing and not getting what they want out of it. I think you should also think of your career. If you're going to end up going into financial debt for your education, you should certainly consider whether or not that financial debt is worth it and whether or not you're actually going to use that degree for anything and get money out of it. So, yeah, but I don't think college is necessarily a bad idea. I just think you should make sure it's something that you want, something that you're actually dedicated to doing and finishing, and something that you would actually benefit from, and you're not just doing it because you think you'd see yourself as stupid if you don't go to college or something, or your parents are pressuring you or something like that. And thanks for the compliment. Appreciate it, Princess.
And so to him, it's just funny, and fuck him if they hear it. He doesn't care. So I just had to comment on that because it's just like virtue signaling to me. That's not a term I use very often, and often I would say virtue signaling.
She's literally virtue signaling here. Like, Swayze, if you think offending people is wrong, then I guess nobody can make porn. I guess nobody can make graphic, violent content on TV. I guess nobody can share any political opinions. I guess nobody can make any jokes. I think humor just has to be offensive on some level. I don't think you can be funny and not offend somebody. Like, are you just totally against the idea of free speech and, like, the ability to just express yourself because we could offend somebody? Why should I care if I offend somebody? A lot of things I do offend people. A lot of the content I watch and a lot of my political beliefs are offensive. Like, Who cares? It's not a rights violation. This is just ridiculous. And if you're going to use this utilitarian sort of moral view to justify these beliefs that being offensive or hurting somebody's feelings is wrong, then how the hell do you justify supporting a Holocaust? Like, how do you think veganism isn't a moral obligation? It just makes no sense. Rooster donated $2, then she is a snowflake. Yeah, she is. It's funny, she's talking about virtue signaling, and that's exactly what she's doing here. But thanks for the nation, Rooster.
Is good, but in this case, it's just obnoxious, especially coming from Greg. Like, really, Greg, you've never laughed at something like this?
You're
really?
Doing nothing but virtue signaling.
Give me a fucking break, dude. No. He's treating it like it's the worst thing ever because it's vegan gains, and it's easy to hate vegan gains. So yeah, looks like Richard is probably done. If he's smart, he will go through every single video and make sure it is totally kosher before he republishes, or really just
It's what I'm doing.
Don't republish anything and start from scratch. But he's been down this road before, so I doubt he's learned very much. And again, I don't think he can stop himself. He can't stop himself from being just fucking mean. Maybe if he stopped streaming, because then he could at least...
So, Swayze, what do you think is more mean? Me hurting somebody's feelings, or you openly advocating violence against innocent animals? You advocating for a Holocaust? Tell me, what's more mean? Again, you're ridiculous. You're a joke. I don't take you seriously. None of your views are logically consistent. You're just a virtue signaling liar. You make crap up about me. The criticisms you have against me, I could throw back at you 10 times worse. Like, it makes no sense. Nothing you are saying makes any sense.
Edit his stuff and call his stuff. Maybe that's what this video should be called. Don't stream, especially if you're a psychopath. I would like to briefly talk about the canceling thing and canceling people from platforms. I'm not going to pretend that I personally would be sad if Richard were gone. I would not be. I think it would probably be a good thing for the platform itself to have people like this off of it. And also for him, I think it would.
So because I offended somebody once, it's a good thing for me to be off the platform. So Unnatural, not vegan. You want me off the platform for being rude and hurting somebody's feelings, but you're totally fine with people uploading videos promoting animal abuse, telling people to eat meat, telling people to eat garbage foods that actually cause human health issues. You're fine with people uploading hunting content. You're fine with people uploading any kind of animal exploitation, like, really bad horse riding, dog breeding. There's people with pet channels who like feed their snakes rats and stuff. Like, you're fine with all that. You don't like make videos about how these people should be thrown off the platform, but you think I should be thrown off the platform because I'm rude. Like, what sense does this make? Please, like, what is so bad about my content that I should be thrown off the platform, but everyone else gets a pass? Like, Unnatural, not vegan, you're the one literally uploading videos, openly advocating for violence against animals. Here I am criticizing these sorts of behaviors. The only thing you can complain about is, yeah, I don't care about people's feelings. What's worse? So by your own standards, should you get kicked off the platform because you're openly advocating for violence? What sense does this make? Like, as if I'm worse than any other YouTube channel. Like, it is just crazy. Nothing she's saying here makes any sense. Alicia donated $3. Hi, Vegan Gains. I hope you can help me. My husband is a steel fitter, and there is a mandatory list of shoes he is allowed to wear that need to be fireproof / steel toe. They're made out of leather. I've tried to find vegan shoes that would suit his needs and can't. I do know there are for sure vegan steel-toed boots that are fireproof. I've known some people who do things like steelwork. I've just never had to look for those myself. I don't know what the best resources would be. You might want to look at PETA. You might want to check Reddit. Usually there's forum posts about those sorts of things on Reddit. Maybe look on like random vegan Facebook groups. That can help. Worst case scenario, you might be able to find used ones. Or if you literally can't, I'd say your absolute last resort might be to get a lawyer and have them send some sort of letter to his employer and talk about how this is actually workplace discrimination because of his like ethical beliefs. In Canada, that would be very easy to do because vegans have actually become a protected class. But if you're in somewhere like the States, you might just have to get a lawyer's note. You might have to get some sort of special contract with your employer where they're not responsible for some sort of workplace accident. Because I'm sure they partly do that for insurance purposes. I would say do that as a last resort, but I know for sure because I've met people who do shit like steelwork and they found vegan-friendly boot options. The only thing is they tend to wear out faster than the leather ones, but yeah, you can certainly find fireproof, steel-toed vegan work boots. I just can't give you like a name on what they are. I just know for a fact they are because I've talked to some people who do that shit. Hopefully that helps. But thanks for the donation, Alicia. Natasha donated $4. You have a lovely disposition, Richard. Well, thank you. Yeah, appreciate the donation. This whole idea makes no sense. I don't understand how she can say channels like Greg Doucette, any channel that supports meat eating is fine, but I have to get kicked off because I am offensive. Like, how is hurting somebody's feelings worse than promoting violence and actually committing violence? There are literal hunting channels. Like, this is ridiculous. As if I'm worse than any other fitness YouTuber. It's just such a dumb idea.
It would probably be good for him to be off of the internet and to have to maybe get a real quote unquote job where he has to actually interact with people in the real world. Maybe that would, I don't know, help him realize just how out of touch with people he is and just how...
Why do I have to be in touch with people? Why do I have to be nice to anybody? Why do I have to care about people's feelings? Can you explain why? You haven't made an argument. All you've done so far is complain that you don't like my behavior. Okay. What's the... I don't like you, Unnatural. There are plenty of things about you that I don't like. I don't like the way you talk. I don't like the words you use. I don't like how you promote animal abuse. Maybe you should get kicked off the internet. Hopefully your channel gets terminated for whatever reason. Hopefully you have to find a real job. Like, you're just saying this just because you don't like me. Plain and simple. You just don't want me to make as much money as I do. You want me to be unsuccessful and poor. That's it. You just want this to happen because you want to get back at me because you don't like what I said. Just, oh my God.
How awful he's been? I don't know. It's hard because if he truly...
Okay, so I've been awful. Hurting people's feelings is awful, but you promoting animal abuse, that's fine. Okay.
Really is a psychopath.
Makes sense.
That there's lack of empathy. So even if he were to find out that, oh yeah.
So I'm a psychopath, I lack empathy, but you support the idea of people eating meat, buying leather, killing animals because out of pure convenience, not because they need to, just out of pure convenience.
By everyone else's standards, he's awful. Well, he doesn't have empathy, so he doesn't care. He doesn't care what our standards are. That's the issue. Anyway, for those...
What? Okay, so she's basically saying now that I have to adhere to common social standards. Okay, so if it were a social standard not to do any interracial dating, me and my dad, I'm half black, my mom's white, my dad's black. If that were the social standard at the time, that interracial dating is wrong, I guess what they did was wrong. Are they psychopaths now because they didn't adhere to, you know, like social standards? Swayze, it's a common social standard to eat meat. Is eating meat okay now because we have to adhere to social standards? None of this makes sense. This is complete gobbledygook.
Interested, there is a really cool channel called Psychopathy Is. It's relatively new, and they have a couple interviews on there with actual diagnosed psychopaths, and it's really cool. It's a hard illness or condition to talk about because we're talking about people who don't care, so it's hard to care about people who don't care.
Yeah, so I'm a psychopath. Weird how I don't have any criminal convictions. I don't have a criminal history. Weird how I haven't murdered anybody. I haven't assaulted people in public. I don't kill animals. I don't openly advocate for animals to get tortured and murdered, unlike you, but I'm the psychopath. Okay.
Care, honestly. But I think we should, and I'm glad that more research is being done into how do we help people how do we help people with this condition, because as I alluded to, like, this, it's not like this is
Yeah, so Swayze, you're not a psychologist, you're not a psychiatrist, you have no ability to diagnose anyone. Like, she's literally calling me a psychopath because I was rude to somebody. Like, holy crap. I guess everybody at the DMV is a psychopath, right? Because they're all rude. Like, holy crap.
good for Richard. I do not believe he's a happy person at all. I think that
Now that I'm on my antidepressants, I'm fucking happy. So thanks. Somehow she can know everything about me, my life, how I feel constantly, my mental state, because she saw one stream where I made an insensitive joke. Yeah, Swayze, I'm on antidepressants. They've been working great. I make a great living on YouTube. I'm making over 10K a month now. Like, what is there for me to be, like, mad about? Why would I be constantly angry? The only thing that upsets me is when I see people like you spewing absolute nonsense. That's the only time when I'm upset.
he is suffering from being a psychopath and probably from depression as well. Even if he doesn't care whether or not he hurts people's feelings, it can't be good to constantly hear people call you awful and an asshole and a piece of shit.
I don't care. I literally flat out do not care. Why would I care if 15-year-olds online don't like me? Why would I care? You're taught, like, this is just projection. She wouldn't like that, so I wouldn't like that. I don't care, Swayze. I'm not an immature child who just focuses on every negative thing that's said about me. I don't care if people don't like me. Like, why would I care? I make over 10K a month. I literally make a living playing video games now. I get to work out and do whatever the fuck I want. Why do I care if there's 1,000 15-year-old kids saying I'm an asshole? Oh, okay. Like, whatever.
And that they hate you. Like, that can't feel good, psychopath or not. If it were my...
That, like, oh my god, she doesn't even know anything about psychopathy. One big thing about psychopathy is that they actually don't really care about what other people think of them.
Platform, yeah, no, Richard would not be on it. But that's the issue. It's not my platform. It's not your platform. It's not any of ours.
So she'd kick me off the platform, but she wouldn't kick off anybody eating meat, anybody promoting animal abuse, anybody with hunting channels. She'd kick me off because I'm rude, but people actually supporting and engaging in animal abuse, that's fine. And this person calls themselves vegan. Are you kidding me? Swayze is just jealous that I make money doing a really cushy, easy job, and she just doesn't like me as a person, and now she's fantasizing about me being poor.
It's rather disgusting she coming back again and again to the psychopath thing, trying to make you look like some sort of subhuman.
Yeah, she's just making some sort of baseless personal attack against me. Swayze, you're not a psychologist. You have no ability to diagnose anyone. What you're saying is completely ridiculous. What does me being a psychopath even have anything to do with this? This is just a personal attack. You haven't made an argument. All you've done is complain about how you don't like me. But thanks for the nation, vegan gamer. Appreciate it.
We have no say, really. It's up to the underpaid people who have to review our stupid fucking content. And there's a good chance their values are different from mine, are different from yours. As an example, we can look at someone like John Meadows. Again, he was a huge promoter of eating animal products, not just in your typical eat some lean milk, eat lean meat, drink some low-fat milk. No. He was big on eating 6 to 9 eggs a day, a bunch of beef, like lots and lots of animals. Again, that article for T Nation promoting this saturated fat-friendly diet with 6 eggs cooked in coconut oil, 3 tablespoons of coconut oil in a shake with 4 ounces of grass-fed liver, half a pound of beef, 2 cups of raw whole milk, great, 3 more eggs, and palm oil, 4 ounces of turkey. According to Chronometer, that's 78 grams of saturated fat. Now, I know the link between saturated fat and cardiovascular disease has been degraded somewhat. It's not at all clear.
No, it hasn't. I don't know where the hell she's getting that idea from.
That limiting it to, 10% or less of total calories is...
The recommendation of limiting saturated fat to no more than 10% of calories has been in place for decades. I don't know why she's claiming the recommendations have changed to be more lax. They haven't. If you, like, what the Scientific Advisory Committee on Nutrition, they're the ones that released the most recent meta-analysis on saturated fat. They argued saturated fat should be limited as much as possible, but the recommendation is no more than 10% of daily calories.
Necessary for health. Like most of nutrition, it probably depends on a lot of different things.
Why is she even talking
individual
about
and
this?
their own personal genetics, what exactly they're eating, right? Are you eating a
I don't know if this has to do with
fat
anything.
cheeseburger? Or are you eating like coconut oil and veggies, and other lifestyle factors like exercise and smoking? But eating 78 grams a day, believing this is actually good for you, will make you healthier, is good for your heart, regardless of his intention, which I'm sure was good. Watching a little bit of his videos, he seemed like a really, really nice person, just someone who genuinely wanted to help people. Regardless of that, one could argue that Meadows was a harmful presence on YouTube and the internet in general. Not only was he promoting tons of animal products, encouraging people to partake in the suffering and death of non-human animals and all of the environmental damage that entails, but he was also encouraging eating tons of saturated fat, which is still considered a risk factor for cardiovascular disease. It is not evidence-based to believe that saturated fat is a healthy.
I don't know
and there's
why
a
she's
huge
going on
difference
about this
between
now.
eating like 2 eggs a day and eating 9 eggs a day. So would I personally want someone like John on the platform, as nice as he was? No, just like I wouldn't want COVID denied.
Yeah, so Swayze is anti-free speech. Plain and simple. Okay, so Swayze, like, I don't know what your ethical principles are. I'm assuming this has something to do with your completely inconsistent, nonsensical utilitarian beliefs, where you think free speech shouldn't be a right because free speech results in negative outcomes, but holy shit. Like, my God. Princess donated $2. What antidepressants do you take? I take Prestique. I take the lowest recommended dose. I think it's 50 milligrams a day. Also, prior to taking them, did you ever try therapy or any natural supplements? Example, 5-HTP. I looked into 5-HTP. Looked like bullshit. I didn't take any other natural supplements. Didn't try therapy specifically for depression. I did that for anger. Helped my anger, but most of my anger issues were resolved with kind of like practice, not really therapy. So I did try mushrooms for depression. That didn't end up working long term. I'd feel good while I was on them for a few hours after, or maybe a couple days after, but it was really inconsistent and shit. But yeah, the Prestique has been helping amazingly. Thanks for the nation though, Princess.
And anti-vaxxers and unrepentant psychopaths like Richard. Just like some people.
I'm an unrepentant psychopath. Really? Are you out of your goddamn mind? Swayze, like, please, can you show me your psychological degree? Can you explain how you've come up with this, diagnosis? Like, holy shit. This is just a ridiculous personal attack, and really, the person who literally just said it's okay to commit a holocaust against animals because you can't be fucked to order vegan at a restaurant or find vegan-friendly shoes is calling me an unrepentant psychopath. Give me a fucking break. Lil Kramer donated $2. Try reaching out to Secular Talk on YouTube to debate veganism. He is a rational guy who I believe can be swayed to go vegan and spread the message to his audience. I think I know Secular Talk. I think I have talked to him before. Oh yeah. No, I know who he is. Kyle Klinsky. I'll try reaching out to him and see if he'd be down for a debate discussion. But thanks for the nation, little Kramer.
People don't want me on the platform. They think that I shouldn't be on the platform, that I'm ultimately harmful because my BLM video where I essentially said that I don't think vegans should be required to talk about anything other than veganism, just like other activists should not be required to talk about veganism. A lot of people were very offended by that, and I'm sure believe that I...
Like, it's funny how she's bringing this up, but she won't bring up the fact that she's not vegan. She's advocating for animal abuse. She's claimed that veganism is not a moral obligation. And just, like, very simple minor inconveniences, like not wanting to ask for a vegan option at a restaurant, justifies torturing and murdering animals. It's funny how she's not bringing this up, like how that would offend somebody.
I'm a harmful presence on YouTube, that I should not be here. So, you know, who's right? Like, I mean, me, obviously. But again, I don't get a say. It's not up to me. It's not up to you. I would just say be very careful when something like this happens, because it's going to happen again, and you may feel very strongly that this person is so wrong and they definitely need to be off the platform, and you may really want to, you know, be engaged in this like mass flagging. Is it...
UV doesn't know that plenty of people prefer you to her. You are a genuinely ethical vegan, super knowledgeable about health, and 100% for free speech, AMD, a fearless animal rights activist. I'm always rooting for you.
Yeah, it's kind of strange how she's going on about how I'm a terrible person, I'm bad for YouTube and veganism and everything, and then we've seen how bad she is. But thanks. Animals are beautiful people. I appreciate the support. Thanks for the donation.
Really an extreme case where you truly believe this person is that harmful and needs to be removed? Or is it just kind of fun and it's fun to be involved? It's not an easy thing to answer. I mean, with Richard, like...
No, it's pretty damn easy. Are they committing a rights violation? No. Are you in support of free speech? Yeah, so, okay, then don't ban people off the platform. This is just ridiculous.
I don't know. I really don't know if this is useful or not. I mean, part of me just feels like, leave him be. Like, who cares what this person who hates everything thinks about anything? Like,
when did I say I hate everything? Like, again, this is somebody who openly advocated for a Holocaust, and then she's saying I hate everything.
Why do we care? And look at his channel. He seems to be doing a pretty good job of canceling his channel all on his own. Just look at his views, look at his channel growth. So that's it, really. I guess the last thing I'll say, just another bias, I guess. Is...
When God made Swazi, all he had to work with was half a squirrel brain and a box full of tits.
Your words, not mine, but thanks for the donation, iPhone Musings. Appreciate it.
That I have would be that this kind of stuff just doesn't really rile me up, because again, I can't care what Richard thinks about anything, honestly.
Then why did you make this video?
The stuff that really, really upsets me is more of the stuff that I think is really influential. Like, you know, I don't know, Joe Rogan not encouraging people to get vaccinated. That's the shit that really upsets me. Fucking moms on TikTok talking about the COVID vaccine being dangerous and making you infertile, or...
This doesn't make sense. She was just on a rant about how I should be banned off the platform because I'm rude, and now she's talking about this?
Saying sunscreen causes cancer. That's the shit that gets me going. Which is not fair. I mean, it's not. Again, everyone deserves sympathy. These people aren't creating these ideas on their own. They are learning it from elsewhere. John Meadows learned the saturated fat shit from elsewhere. And with COVID, I don't know. I feel like I oscillate back and forth between just like, fucking idiots, just get the vaccine. And oh, now you're in the hospital? It's kind of like Richard's response. Like, what the fuck did you expect? Really? Like, why should I even feel sad about this? Everyone has a limited amount of compassion. Do I really need to waste that on this person who made their choice? And then I go like, well, yeah, you should, because everyone deserves sympathy. And this person has fucking brainworms. They got this information from whoever, Joe Rogan or some stupid Republican.
Like, you'll notice that she is just pandering constantly. Like, everything is just an appeal to her audience's sensibilities.
And everything's just been so polarized. And at the end of the day, like, is it really their fault? I don't know, man. I don't know. The people literally in the hospital dying saying, no, they're glad they didn't get vaccinated, though. Those people I have zero compassion for. I've drawn the line. You had a chance to say you were sorry, to say you messed up, and you chose the easy route, no. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this. It was pretty rambly. It was pretty all over the place, but maybe you got
you
something
damn
out
right
of
it was.
I don't know. If you liked it, consider liking it. Consider
that made
subscribing,
absolutely
of
no
course.
sense.
For those
That
who are new
was
to the
complete
channel, obviously
nonsense.
this is a vegan channel. Obviously,
No, this isn't a vegan channel. You don't believe veganism is a moral obligation. You've told people that it's ethical to buy leather products and eat meat. You're not vegan.
I don't, what's the phrase? I can't think of the phrase, but I don't agree with everything that a lot of vegans believe in. Well, saturated fat, still people like Richard are very like, it's the worst thing ever. I think that's a little bit dated in terms of...
How? Like, what is this? Like, what is she even talking about? She doesn't even know what the hell she's talking about. She's jumping from topic to topic. No, saturated fat has the greatest influence on your serum cholesterol. And serum cholesterol is the #1 risk factor for heart disease. So why the hell would I... Like, what science are you talking about that has shown saturated fat isn't that bad?
Of the science.
You want to debate me, Swayze? Oh, yeah, you're never going to do that, right?
And where we are with that. And there are a lot of people I very much respect, like Aaron Carroll, who just say, I don't know. How bad is saturated fat? I don't know. And I think as vegans, it can be very easy for us to just go, because it suits our narrative. It does. It suits our narrative for saturated fat to be really, really, really bad for you. But I am not a health vegan. I'm not vegan for health. I am vegan for the animals.
You're not vegan. You're not vegan for the animals. Like, holy crap, you literally made a video stating veganism is not a moral obligation and it's fine to buy leather products and eat meat. Like, what the hell are you talking about? You literally claimed whenever you're confronted with the slightest inconvenience, it's okay to eat meat. You're not vegan.
And for the environment, so I really don't give a shit if saturated fat is good for us or not. That's not true. I would like it not to be, because that would be another thing that could potentially help people eat less animals. That's good.
Well, thank you for that. You're ridiculous rambling. Nothing you said made any sense, and you're completely self-contradictory. So that's great, Swayze. I'd love to see you make a response to this, but you're probably not. Because what the hell could you possibly say? And by the way, debate offer is still on the table, but I know you're going to refuse because you know you'd make yourself look foolish. So thanks.